Judy.
How about a round of applause for our teenagers?
Representing the Board of Trustees of University School on maybe the most exciting day on the school calendar, the first day of school. I'm also here as a proud parent of 3 alums of University School who all started in pre-primary and made it all the way through their senior year, so their names are all written up in the tower, and we look forward to the same thing for as many of you as possible too. In the interest of the Common Trust theme this year, which is kindness, I'm going to keep my remarks as brief as possible. But it's really great to see so many happy faces here at school today. And I'm not just talking about the parents, but in particular the students, and it's really all about the students and the faculty and staff. It's really wonderful to see everybody assembled here today. I do want to thank the parents, and again, speaking as a former parent here at school, thank you for entrusting your child's education with University School. It's a real act of faith to send your child to any school, but I think you can feel very confident and comfortable that your child is going to have an outstanding education and a great experience here at USM. To the students who are all assembled here today, I welcome everybody back. Everybody who's been at USM before knows that this school is all about great teachers and making great friends. And for those of you who are new to the school today, a special welcome, and want to make sure that you realize that really by the end of your first day at school, you'll see what USM is all about too. Great friends and great teachers. One other note I want to express to the parents is if you haven't already found ways to get involved in the USM community, there are so many different ways for you to join the community. This school really runs on the passion, on the commitment of everybody who's here today. Parents, administrators, faculty, staff, and of course, above all, students. But it's a great place for parents to get engaged in the life of the school. I'd say the same thing to the students here today too. Find ways to really get involved in the life of the school beyond just what your teachers have to teach you in your classroom. And you'll find lots and lots of opportunities to do that. So it's the beginning of a great year at USM. I'm excited to be here. I welcome everybody here. And with that, I'd like to turn it back over to our head of school, Mrs. Laura Fuller.
Well, again, welcome back, everyone. This is truly one of the most exciting days of the year. We gather here every year out here on the green. It was a close call this morning, but we made it. And I just want to share with you that on the way in, when I was trying to decide whether or not to make the run for the gym, a couple of our seniors were coming in, and I said to them, "What do you think, guys, inside or out?" And one of them said, "We need to ring the bell." So we are outside, and I'm glad we are because it's perfect. Today definitely marks a celebration for us. We all spend the summer here in these boring hallways without you, and I cannot tell you how exciting it is to have everyone back. This is the first time in history, and students, I want you to take a look around. This is the first time in history where you are over 1,100 students. So let's give ourselves a big round of applause. So I would like to also officially introduce to you all of the students and all of the parents, our leaders of the school, the class of 2014. Seniors, you will guide us and you will lead us through what is the most important year of your time at USM. All of the younger students who are here today will be watching you. They'll be learning from you, and they'll be anxious to learn about what legacy you will leave for your time at USM. It is a really important year for you. I encourage you to plan carefully, enjoy every minute of it, and make us proud. As we go forward, this community lives by a common thread. The common thread helps us to live together and work together and behave together with respect and a common decorum. And you know what I'm talking about, that is our common trust. To remind ourselves of what this means on this important day when we begin our school year, we will be talking to you in a few minutes, and I will introduce to you the prefects of the class of 2014, our leaders of the class, who will talk a little bit with you about the tenet of the Common Trust that we will emphasize this year. As you know, the Common Trust talks to you about treating each other with respect, trust, honesty, and fairness. It also talks about just being kind to each other. And kindness is the tenet that we will emphasize this year. I believe that if you are respectful, you are being kind. I think if you are trustworthy, honorable, and fair, you are also being kind. As the year progresses, you will hear all about this. You'll hear it in assembly talks, you'll hear it in the classroom, and you'll hear it during advising time. So I ask you today to do this. It sounds simple, but it isn't always so simple. Treat each other with kindness. Think about what it is to walk in the other person's shoes. Think about putting your own egos and your own self-absorption. Just put it aside a little bit, and remember, if you are kind to others, they will be kind to you. So let's spend the 2013-14 school year treating each other the way we want to be treated. It seems simple. It is a simple rule. Have a great year. Remember to live by the common trust and enjoy each and every day. And now, as I said, we are going to hear from the prefects, but first I would like to call upon our middle school leadership club. That would be Joe Hershey, Sam Browning, Haley Stefani, Mia Cudahy, and Justin Thomas to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Now, the prefects of the senior class, elected by the students of the upper school to be their leaders for the year, I'd like to call them to the stage, and they will talk to you about each of them an experience that they had that exemplifies the meaning of being kind. Julia Hansen, Jack Hiller, Addie Lerner, Peter Lee, Jason Cedar, and Olivia Williamson.
Hi, I'm Julia Hansen. It was one day in junior English last year when we were reading a story about a young boy whose father didn't believe in his dream to play baseball that I realized why we read books. As we read the story, I found myself becoming angry at the father for being mean to his son. When the story came to an end, however, I realized that I had been wrong to judge the father so harshly. The way he acted resulted from how his own father had treated him when he was a child, and the problems he was facing trying to find a job and care for his family. By better understanding his situation, I was able to put myself in the place of the father and realize he could not be completely blamed for his actions. True kindness comes from understanding. In books, the characters we read about and the problems they face give us a close-up view of someone else's life. From learning about their stories, we can better understand the people we meet and use that understanding to treat them with greater kindness. Books teach us that kindness is putting yourself in others' shoes, thinking about their perspective instead of your own. That often we should be kindest to those who are least kind to us. If we take the time to understand their situation, we would realize that it is they who need it the most. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jack Hiller. A single, simple act of kindness can have a much more significant impact than one might expect. These kind-hearted deeds may seem inconsequential, but they can make all the difference to the recipient. Throughout my USM career, I have seen many small gestures of kindness positively impact individuals and the entire community. I was on the receiving end of one such act just a few weeks ago. It was a balmy summer morning at the SCORE soccer complex in Racine. Despite the skill of our opponents, we were ahead by the score of 1-0. I found myself sprinting across the dewy grass as the ball skittered in front of me. Time seemed to stand still, but my heart continued to race. I could feel the eyes of the several fans that had gathered for this preseason scrimmage focused on me. The pressure was immense. As the black and white checkered ball rolled into my path, I planted my left foot and struck with my right. I watched as the ball sailed past the outstretched keeper's hands and nestled itself in the upper right-hand corner of the goal. Unfortunately, it was my own goal. I hung my head in shame and attempted to avoid all eye contact. As I gloomily made my way back up the field, our incredibly competitive captain began to approach me. I prepared myself for a hostile confrontation. Instead, he simply told me not to worry about it, and I was going to go score on the correct end of the field this time. This one sentence changed my entire outlook on the situation. Knowing that my teammates still had confidence in me allowed me to forget about my disastrous mishap and instead focus on the rest of the game. To our captain, those few words may not have been a big deal, but to me, they were extremely important. This incident illustrates how even a simple gesture can be meaningful. As the famed storyteller Aesop says in his fable, The Lion and the Mouse, no act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted.
Hi, I'm Addie Lerner. Two things I have feared since 8th grade occurred on my very first day of high school. The first, getting lost. The hallways were new and the teachers were unfamiliar. Pretending to know where my Spanish class was located, I walked around the science wing, avoiding eye contact with the upperclassmen who were comparing schedules. One of the older boys noticed that I looked confused and walked over to me. That's when I experienced the second thing I feared most, being awkward. When he asked me if I was lost, I just stood there and said nothing. He pulled out a piece of paper and drew a few rectangles and some long lines and pointed to the corner, telling me that that was where I was. He showed me where all my classes were and which staircases I needed to take to get to each class. The map he drew saved me from more embarrassment that first week as a freshman. Although it was very small, this act of kindness from an upperclassman was very welcoming. He had gone completely out of his way to look after me when he didn't even know me, and he had nothing to gain. I'm not entirely sure what his intentions were. Maybe he felt sorry for me, maybe he was sick of watching me walk around in circles, or maybe he was just nice. No matter the reason, I believe his kindness reflects the USM community very well. Everyone is always reaching out to help others, looking out for one another, and making sure all feel included, especially new students. So if any of you get lost today, come find me and I'll draw you a map.
Hi, I'm Peter Lee. I came here last fall as a junior and will graduate from USM in spring. I'm able to be here today to talk to you about kindness because of the many acts of kindness that has been bestowed on me. First, my parents. Instead of saving money for their better lives after retirement, they put the money for my study in the United States. Second, my host families. Let a stranger leaving their house and share their space. That takes a lot of courage and trust. I have thought lots of times, if it was me, could I also accept a foreign student to live with me and treat him as a part of my family? I don't dare to say yes. Third, all the teachers who encouraged me to keep working hard and even gave me a compliment when I was not good at something. Although sometimes it's beyond their job and they really don't have to do that, they still spend their invaluable time helping me to improve. Last, it's you, my dear friends, during the last year who gave me so much power and confidence. You accepted me into this big family, never gave up explaining a tough idea to me until I finally understood. And one of you even asked me to say this. Well, sometimes what I have experienced makes me feel extremely flattered. I can't help but ask myself, do I really deserve this? Do I truly qualify to be a good son, a trustworthy family member, a diligent student, or a responsible friend? Lots of times, a thank you seems too light to repay all those kind behaviors. But I still want to say thank you. You all have influenced me to become who I am now. You spread the seeds of kindness on my mind, and I will make them blossom and spread the kindness again. It's never late to do something kind. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Jason Cedar. Over the years, I've found that kindness is the cement that holds a community together. Regardless of the troubles we face and the difficulties we encounter making friends and new relationships, receiving a kind word or action is often all it takes for us to feel comfortable in a new environment. And for me, nor was this truth more evident than in my experiences freshman year. As a freshman, I was incredibly uncertain of myself. Skinny, shy, and sporting the same pairs of Velcro Skechers and glasses that I'd had since 7th grade, I was not an imposing presence. And needless to say, the high school environment was immensely frightening to me. The difficult new classes, the gargantuan upperclassmen, and the realization that my academic performance was more important than ever were terrifying new realities. I hadn't the slightest idea of how to handle it all, and one day at lunch, I finally let out a cry of exasperation that must have startled my senior table mates, because they asked me what was wrong. I responded by saying that I simply did not understand upper school, and I had no idea what to make of myself in such an intimidating community. Now, these seniors could have brushed aside my worries as those of just another overstressed, inexperienced freshman, but they didn't. Instead, they asked me specifically what was bothering me. I talked about my teachers, my classes, and the overbearing workload. And for all my problems, they offered appropriate remedies. We talked throughout lunch, and when our conversation ended, I felt more relaxed and comfortable with high school than I had ever felt before. And I set out to my classes with renewed determination and greater confidence. Eventually, I ended up enjoying the year and finally feeling as if I was part of the community. It was the kindness of those seniors that allowed me to feel that sense of belonging. My case proving that an act is simple yet amiable as giving helpful advice is all that is necessary to improve a person's mood and even their life. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Olivia Williamson. Mark Twain once said that kindness is a language which the deaf can hear and the blind can see. When I came across this quote a few months ago, it made me think a lot about what kindness is and what it means to different people. But it was not until a few weeks later that I saw it in action and actually understood Twain's wise words. This past summer, I was fortunate enough to spend a week and a half in Costa Rica with 37 students from around the country for our third year of GYLI. For the middle part of the trip, we lived with Costa Rican families in their homes for 3 days. I was placed on La Finca Chiquita with 6 other girls. All of us were nearly fluent in Spanish, except for one girl, Alex. Alex had taken French throughout high school and only knew small phrases in Spanish. We worried about how Alex would be able to communicate with our family, but by the end of the trip, she had proved that her lack of Spanish language skills had barely mattered. She spent her free time teaching Mariana, our host sister, emotions in English and playing soccer with the neighbors. The tight hugs that Alex gave our hosts while leaving and the genuine smiles she beamed at Mariana throughout the 3 days demonstrated more kindness than anything the other 6 of us could have said in Spanish. It's true that kindness is the compliments you give and the nice things you say to people, but it can be so much more than that, and Twain's words rang true those days I spent with Alex in Costa Rica. Kindness can bring people of different backgrounds together. It crosses age, gender, hometowns, and as Alex proved, languages. We can all learn a lesson from Alex, and that it doesn't take a wide vocabulary to be kind to someone, but that actions speak louder than words, and we should show our kindness as well as telling it. Using this, together we can foster a stronger and kinder USM community. Thank you.
Please join us in singing the Alma Mater.